Now we're live. And what's up? Hey, no ice background. So
Nah,
I had
yeah,
you in
my
mind. I had you in mind. And every time we say the word barefoot shoe in this episode, I'm gonna put more ice in. So I got your back covered, bro.
yeah,
Woo.
cheers. Yeah,
So it's yeah.
apparently my computer's not capable of doing it. I just realized.
Your
Yeah,
computer is not capable of going in an ice bath.
neither
My
am
computer
I.
can't do that either. Whew. All right, so welcome to the Cold Feet Podcast, and thank you so much for coming along.
Yeah, no stress.
I'm gonna let my breathing come to normal a bit and eventually stop chickening out and get to my neck throughout the episode. So, Alex, why don't you introduce yourself to our audience and tell us what you do?
So yeah, probably about a few years ago, I started getting into barefoot shoes following an injury. I tried numerous different types of shoes after I got an ankle injury. It was like a peroneal tendon injury. And I went down the path of like the normal kind of shoes that most kind of sport places or, podiatrists kind of recommended, like Asics, Saucony, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just nothing felt good on my feet. Like I would buy them, and after a few days, I would have to return them. It just kind of aggravated something. This was like when my feet were quite sensitive. Um, so yeah, I tried numerous different types of shoes. The only shoes that kind of eventually felt good were Crocs. Like the rubber Crocs. They give you like a wide toe box, and I think they are zero drop, or they kind of slightly got a bit of a but yeah, I think the width was probably the major factor that kind of helped me. After that, I kind of looked for shoes that were a bit more presentable, and stumbled across I think the Correct Toes website or something like that, and it kind of made me go down the rabbit hole.
Wow, that's really cool. So, when it
Yeah,
comes to like Crocs and the other, non-barefoot shoes, they're not inherently marketed towards the barefoot community. But they do have some of the advantages of barefoot, like, wide toe box. Also, Uggs, by the way. A lot of them are extremely wide toe
yeah,
box. Slippers are wide toe box. Flip-flops, even though they're obviously not ideal for all the barefoot people because of other reasons, are also, wide toe box. So the term barefoot shoe is a marketing technique. Would you agree with that?
yeah,
Sweet.
definitely.
So what do you do now that you're recovering from injury and you're super into the barefoot world? What do you do with your barefoot career? Like, I know you're really into it. You have a whole blog. Could you speak about that a bit?
Yeah. So, how did it start? Yeah, it was just such a kind of such an ordeal to kind of get like the right shoes for me. So I thought, if I'm having this issue, there must be other people that are having this issue as well. So yeah, I started kind of recording it. At this time, I was like off work and studying as well. So yeah, due to the injury, I had to kind of like change career paths and everything. Um, so I had a fair bit of time on my hands. And like I spoke to my partner, Jade. She had like surgery when she was younger. She had like a burn. And this was around the time when it was, I think, like Tumblr or something like that. So is that snow in the background as well?
Yeah, that would be nice. It doesn't really snow much here in Israel. It's flower petals. It's like the flower blooming
Oh,
season. So there's like beautiful petals that are giving me a little bit of a background.
yeah.
I'm not
Sorry,
that
sorry,
brave. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sorry to interrupt.
All good.
Yeah, so yeah, she was telling me that when she was younger, she had a blog for her surgery, and she was contacted by this girl in England that was going through the same thing, and it kind of I guess inspired me to kind of help people, and yeah,
Wow. So
it kind
yeah.
of manifested though into something else. Yeah, I kind of ended up getting products from people, and yeah, it kind of just spiraled out of control, I guess.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like someone like you, at least for me, an avid barefooter, you're a big part of the barefoot community because
Yeah, yeah,
barefoot shoes have become our symbol, right? Our symbol of freedom, our symbol that we're different than weirdos to an extent.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like Alex has this page, the Barefoot Shoe Review on Instagram. You can check him out. It's so helpful. It's efficient, it's concise, it's detailed, and it really breaks down the 7,000 different brands out there. And every time someone says, yeah, barefoot shoes are ugly, those are like the toes shoes, right? Like the Vibrant Five Fingers. I always refer them to
Yeah.
Alex's page, and you see some beautiful, beautiful, normal looking sneakers, normal looking dress shoes that are actually good for your feet. With that being said, Alex, can you explain to us what a barefoot shoe is? Because it's kind of like an oxymoron, like
Yeah.
a barefoot shoe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually bought one here for
Oh,
you.
yeah.
That's a Wildling Tanuki Umi.
Nice.
I don't think you've got a Wildling yet, so
No, not
that's
yet.
something
We'll
to
get
consider.
there.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like a fairly normal shoe, except it's like flexible. At the toe box, they're wider, so it allows your feet to actually fit in there naturally, and therefore kind of move how they should. It's zero drop as well, so it doesn't have a heel. And yeah, I guess that's it. Like I do look for shoes as well that have like yeah, kind of minimal stuff around the heels or everywhere else as well. I think that kind of it can obstruct people. Yeah.
I got you. The basic goal of a barefoot shoe is to allow our feet to function like feet, but still provide minimal protection from the weather, from glass, from dog poop, whatever it is. And sometimes, the specialty shoes, signs, the Vivo Barefoot Soft Ground, they have like cleats or a boot to give you, better things for terrain. But at the end of the day, I think either you said this or Andy Bryant, podiatrist, said this. You can run a marathon in a barefoot dress suit just as much as you can run in like a minimalist sandal. Like it's not, the goal is not to be a shoe. The goal is just to give you that, base protection. So
Yeah.
someone comes along and they're new to the barefoot world. And this happens to me a lot, as I'm a big advocate of it for all my clients and athletes, and they want to purchase their first pair of barefoot shoes. What do you recommend? Like, how do they go about it?
I think it depends on what they're kind of using it for. Like, I think if people are kind of using it for sports and things like that, I do think that they need more of a transition period. Like I would recommend looking for like a shoe with a bit more padding on the sole, like a Lems or an Ultra. But I do think that people kind of just, casual, kind of everyday kind of stuff, nothing intense. I do think they can kind of get straight into it to a certain degree. And yeah, I just think for like sporting stuff, especially running, you do need to kind of build up that tolerance. And ultimately, I think you have to listen to your body. Like everyone's body is different. There is no one size fits all approach. So yeah.
Wow, I really agree with that assessment. The same thing goes with like correct toes and toe spreaders. Like whenever anyone asks, whenever I give people toe spreaders and they say, how long should I wear it? I say, put it on, and when it starts getting uncomfortable, take it off. So I think the same thing applies to barefoot shoes as well. I've had some great success with the Lems Primal 2 specifically. I've recommended them to the clients, and when you wear it with the insole, it's really not bad. It's plenty of thickness. It's a beautiful sneaker. It's aesthetic. It's basically, the way I look at it is it's taking away the negative aspects of, regular shoes, but it's not inherently giving you that true minimalist feel, which is totally cool. Because as far as I understand, sole thickness is the least important thing in the barefoot shoe.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like, how do people prefer their steak or, yeah.
Can you elaborate? Could you elaborate why? Because it's such like wait, how is that a minimalist shoe? It's like 10 millimeters.
Like me personally, I probably prefer them, around 6 to 10 millimeters. I think that if they're too thin, it can kind of be counterproductive for a lot of people, especially if your biomechanics aren't the best. You could be, hitting the ground too hard, even for walking and things like that. I do think that probably the ultimate criteria for a barefoot shoe would probably be the wide toe box and the zero drop. And even the zero drop, I think you could, probably play with that a bit, like, 2 mil. Yeah.
I hear that. So when it comes to sole thickness, our body's like proprioceptive. It has like, 20,000 nerves in our feet or so. So the better we can feel the ground, the better we're going to balance, the better we're going to walk, the better we're going to run, the better we're going to land. But at the same time, you can't transition from, running with your squishy 20, 30 millimeter sneakers or whatever they are, or who knows how big they are these days, to
Yeah.
a minimalist shoe. And I'm someone who I spent all my life barefoot. I spent 24 hours yesterday. I went grocery shopping barefoot for 4.5 hours. I went rucking with 24 kilo on my back for 2 hours. All my life barefoot. And the second I start running, either barefoot with a minimalist shoe, I'll feel my calves. I'll feel my Achilles tendon. And that's because I'm not conditioned to endurance running barefoot. So like, I think it's important that we differentiate as, activists in the barefoot community between barefoot running and just kind of like, day-to-day barefoot life. And once again, for someone who's new to the community, check out a shoe like the Lambs or Ultra, which are basically have all the positive benefits of a barefoot shoe, but they're still thick. So you're not like, going super minimalist and then somewhere down the line, you can go minimalist. So Alex, because you own like, how many pairs of barefoot shoes do you have? Oh, Alex?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got me. How many pairs of barefoot shoes do you own?
Yeah. Geez. I think between me and Jay, probably about 40 to 50.
Ooh, nice. So what's your favorite
It's probably
shoe?
something. It's probably something that I shouldn't be proud of, really.
What would
My
you say
favorite,
your favorite shoe is? Yeah.
probably Wildlings. I do like Soft Star as well. Yeah, just off the top of my head, probably Wildling and Soft Star.
Mm-hmm. Why
They,
is that?
they feel really natural. They use like a lot of natural materials, and they're I don't know, they just feel good in your feet. I
It
think
kind of feels like an extension
they're
of your
wide as
feet
well,
kind of
so they
thing.
don't inhibit anything. And
I
yeah,
hear that.
yeah, and they feel very primal as well with the natural materials, I think.
I definitely have found that as one delves more and more into the barefoot world, we tend to look for like the most minimalist shoe or the shoe that obstructs our gait the least. So one of the reasons why I like Earth Runners, the Elemental, like the 8 millimeter ones, is besides that like thin layer of rubber that you have, you're pretty much barefoot. So all these shoes, especially the ones that
Yeah,
are very wide and don't smush your toes at all, which unfortunately a lot of the Vivo barefoot shoes, fairly narrow toolboxes, especially, for the barefoot world, you still feel like you're wearing a shoe. And sometimes you don't want that feeling.
yeah. That there even is that difference between like sandals and shoes, I've noticed, and yeah.
Got you. So we spoke about like, you're purchasing your first barefoot shoe. What would you do? But do you have any tips for beginners as they're transitioning into their barefoot shoes? Is there any, tips, techniques you would recommend for them?
Yeah, a bit of promotion here, but yeah, I think like reading reviews. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the community as well that review. So I guess yeah, reading reviews. As well, if you can try them on in person, but that's obviously not possible everywhere. As it's growing, there's going to be more physical stores, so you can actually try them on in person. Yeah, I guess like be familiar with your foot as well. Be familiar with what the shoe's like. Yeah, have refunds activated on your PayPal. Yeah, that's probably what I can think of off the
Nice.
top of my head.
Wow. I really like that because most times when I ask barefoot people, they'll start giving all sorts of like transition techniques, and you're like straight to the logics. Have activated refunds in case you get screwed over. I like it. So
Yeah, well,
once again,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't have that like kind of physical therapy kind of background or yeah. So for me, it's I take like a backbench approach. I don't give any advice with that kind of stuff. I leave that to you and people like Andy and yeah.
So no like shirtless pics and buy my program right now for $9.99. You're not into that stuff?
No, not yet, not yet. We'll
So
see.
something I wanted to share with you, I've thought a lot about, types of barefoot people, and I've kind of categorized them into three types. And I wanted to hear like what your thoughts on this are. There's the people
Yeah, go
who
on.
are die-hard barefoot people, such as I think you and me, where we're either you're never going to see us wearing dress shoes or extremely rarely. We're always wearing either barefoot shoes or barefoot. And some of us within this category are a little bit more extreme, such as myself, where I'm actually always going barefoot with no shoes. Then there's the people who are either transitioning or they own a pair of barefoot shoes and they respect the aspect of going barefoot. They'll train barefoot a lot, but they're not obsessive about it. So you'll see them wearing regular sneakers sometimes. They'll usually only own a pair or two as opposed to like the 15, 30 pairs we own. And then there's the first category of
Yeah.
people who are, transitioning into it and scared of it and like skeptical of it and, afraid to take off their shoes. And within that first category, you'll still see many people, like even before I got into the barefoot aspect of like spending my life barefoot, I was still training whenever I was squatting or deadlifting or doing exercise in the gym. I did respect the feet enough that when you're doing these, weightlifting exercise, you do want to take your shoes off. So these people kind of fall into the first category as well. Like respect the shoes, but don't wear barefoot shoes. Category number 2, transitioning, has a pair or two, but isn't like fully bought in yet. And then like the third category where you're like a sworn follower. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree somewhat. I think you can even probably break, like you said, you can break down the last one to like, extremes, to further extremes. Like me, myself, and even like Wendy from Obsessed with Barefoot Shoes and Katya, like other kind of reviewers, we're just kind of like everyday daily. We're just kind of like everyday daily people. And then there's like, the barefoot runners, which they don't even really wear shoes. And then there's people that are kind of, die hard, like, you can't have anything more than 5 millimeters sole. And I think, you can break it down even further, definitely.
I hear that. I think it's really time to break the rules. Like just to clarify for everyone out there is no perfect barefoot shoe. Most of barefoot shoes are marketing, and I discovered that after buying 14 pairs of shoes that like 5 of these don't even fit me well, specifically the Vivo barefoot ones. So like if I came across guys like you, guys like Wendy earlier in the stage, I would be able to fit better. So here's like my 2 cents. I'm not the expert. This guy right here next to me is. My 2 cents out there is like, do your research, look at your toe box, look how wide your feet are, find out what's comfortable for you. Don't take extremes. Don't say, oh, I have to go all gung-ho and go ahead and get like the zero do-it-yourself sandal, which is like 1 millimeter or whatever it is. Get a shoe, get an Ultra, get a Lems. What's cool about Ultra is they're regular sneakers. They're pretty thick. Some of them are like, 20 millimeters, but they don't have a heel and they don't have a wide toe box. And those are like, as we said before, the 2 most damaging things. And find out what's best for you. Yeah, go ahead.
As well, I think like you can't rely solely on reviewers as well. It is like a journey that you have to kind of go on yourself. You know what's best for you. So, you kind of have to make your own story, basically.
Totally. And if you order a pair and it's not good, return it. Like, don't feel compelled to keep it just because it's a barefoot shoe. Ooh, it's starting to rain. This is going to be fun. Like a lot of times, especially in our community, because like barefoot shoes are a symbol, we can get a little obsessed with barefoot shoes. That's what I found. No reference to Wendy there. Like barefoot shoes are, at the end of the day, it's hard to say this, but barefoot shoes aren't God. They're just a shoe. They're made out of cloth or some sort of vegan material or whatever it is. And like if they're not good, you can return them. I have noticed a trend in the barefoot world is we get a little obsessed. Like this physical therapist, a friend of mine that she's into barefoot shoes. So she had 0 pairs. And now in like a month, she went to like 10. And I'm like, hey, I made that mistake. Like, it's so good. Like, slow it down a bit. Like, oh, nothing's going to happen. Ooh, well, anyways, Alex, my toes and legs. Oh, I'm losing connection a little bit. I'll wait till I get back. You do hear me? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, sweet. So my toes and legs are starting to freeze a bit, and I still didn't go all the way in. So 1 second. Okay, still live. Is there anything else you'd like to add to our audience? If you could tell us about where we can find you on social media or website, blog.
The Barefoot Shoe Review on Instagram. I've got a Facebook as well, but I'm not too active on it. I find that Instagram, it's a bit more visual. I've got my blog as well, thebarefootshoereveiw.com. Hope to see you guys there. And
yeah, guys, check this guy out. He legit has like the best barefoot shoe review page, no pun intended there. He also has numerous discounts. He also has numerous discounts on all the shoes. So if you're looking to pick up a pair and you're looking to order from the main website, not like a retailer, then you can get like 10 to even 20, 30% off. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Off most of the shoes, and some are pricey, some aren't. You definitely should check them out. Thank you so much for coming aboard.
No worries. Thank
Next
you for having
episode.
us.
Hell yeah, bro! It's been a pleasure, and I think I'm the second person to see your face on live camera. And hopefully next time you'll be in the ice bath, and I'll be drinking my hot cocoa by the fireplace. So thanks again. It's been a pleasure. So good to chat with you. Start my day off with this. End your day, and yeah, have an amazing day, brother.
Thank you.
I'll see you.